Well, welcome, YouTubers. I'm just gonna have a bit of a quick crack at the all this space fakery that's been going on. Um, I was just looking on Google Earth the other day, and this beautiful round ball that we have here. And I noticed up here they've got Mars and the Moon. So I thought, oh yeah, this has got to be good. Yeah, I've got to see some, surface images of Mars. I mean, what could that possibly be? Let's have a look. Obviously, it's a composite. I mean, straight away. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it. But what I first noticed when you zoom into, well, here's a good area. Now, let's look at that. Right. Now, does something look a little odd about that? Does something look a little Photoshoppy to you? There's something a bit uniform about these circles, these craters. It's like they came out of a hole punch. As if they came from a hole punch. These are all separate gauges, and they've just photoshopped. Just gone blop 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 blop. Pop in a few of these ones. Up the gauge a little bit. Pop in a few of these ones, and it's pretty easy to sort of verify. I mean, just looking at it in itself is just astonishing that we're supposed to look at this and say, oh yeah, that looks like someone took a photo of the surface of Mars. I mean, fucking what a load of shit, right? So we'll just save this. That's for whatever. Okay. So that we can open it up in a different program. Photoshop, yes, the wondrous Photoshop. The magical tool. And what I will show you later is how easy it is for them to fake this stuff and how badly they do it. And that's the most astounding thing about it. That I cannot believe how poorly I mean, you'd think these guys would have the best artists, the best equipment, the best software, but they can't they can't create a convincing image for the life of them. It's just so strange. I cannot figure out why. Let's go for a ellipse, and we'll just pick this one here, and we'll try and get that. Oh no, that's not perfect. But it will actually be, and let's make that about the same size, 73. There we go. Just get rid of that one. Oh, hang on, I'll delete from here. Which one's which? That's not what I want to keep. Get rid of that one. Yep. Okay, so we got this circle. Oops. Oh, I'm moving the wrong thing. Got the wrong one. Put that back. Okay, so there you go. Look at that. Pop. Nice size there, right? Look at that. Pop. It's the same. That's the same. That without the crater edge is the same. It's the same. It's the same. That's a little crusty around the edge, but it's the same. It's the same. This one, it's a bit messy, but it's the same. As you can see, there's like 5 or 6 just in this one area that are identical in size. It's very odd for nature to create particular sizing charts for its natural features. I would not have assumed that such a thing was possible. I'll try for this one now. Okay, get rid of the elliptical one. Should have prepared this a little earlier. But you can see them. Bang. Bang. There's roughly. Bang. Bang. Pretty close to that one there. Yep, it's the same as that. And that one there's the same as that. And this one over here, what do you know, it's exactly the same size. And that one there is exactly the same size. And that one there is, without the feathered edge, it's exactly the same size. This one here is exactly the same size. So you're looking at 10 or 20 here of this size. But you'd think, with all the time and money and effort that they're going to put into this, they would stagger them out a little bit. They would make it not so fucking obvious that they've just cloned a bunch of circles and then gone in and altered each one slightly. I mean slightly. This one and this one. Not a lot of difference. And as you move around the surface of the planet, you'll notice a hell of a lot of similarities. Now you've got these little ones here. I've got to do the little ones. Because they're just so easy for them to, just throw them in at random and assume that nobody's going to pay any attention. He's a little small, actually. That's the biggest one. I might check that up to 22. Okay, and do that. So, I'm going to zoom in a little for this one. So, bing, we've got one here, we got another 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 one here, another one here. And as you can see the pattern emerging, it is just that, it is a computer generated pattern. It's the most obvious CGI fakery I've ever seen. And I assume that they don't care either way. I mean, it's Google Earth and Google Mars. What are you going to do with it? You're going to use it for directions. It has actually no useful purpose aside from minor curiosity. Curiosity, isn't that a laugh? I'll show you some stuff about curiosity later, actually. The supposed Mars rover. It's been out there. Yeah, look, this one and this one and this one and this. I mean, you just got these pop pop. This is just going pop 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 pop. Yeah. It's like sort of like what? Like the clone tool. Oh, he's not going to work on there. There we go. See that size of that circle there? Bang, 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 bang. And I just go up here, and I go bang, 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 bang. And I go back down there, and I go bang, 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 bang. And then, I mean, it's not. They've put no effort into this at all. This is ridiculous. If they're going to try and fool people into believing that Mars is real and that these are actually terrestrial locations on the surface of Mars, then why does it look so fucking fake? Jesus. That's just appalling. So anyway, speaking of the fakeness of its appearance and such, where's my space fake stuff? I thought this can't be very difficult to do. Surely I could come up with something. So let's look at some images that are supposedly from Mars. This is from Mars, apparently, as it says here. Image NASA, University of Arizona, United States Geological Survey, and NASA. So there you go. That is taken from the surface of Mars. Right? Yeah, right. Okay, well, let's have a look at something else. There's the same image that I fiddled around with. It doesn't look like Mars anymore. No, it looks more like Earth, surprisingly enough. But what else did I find? What else did I do with this? Got a good one here somewhere. The one there. This one. You could be forgiven for believing that that was actually the same location. I mean, actually, if you slide those hills up to each other, look at that. I mean, you couldn't tell, could you? I mean, that is Mars. If that's Mars, then that's Mars. But if that's not Mars, what the fuck is that? Because I can tell you now that is not Mars. That is, in fact, Chile. That's the original photograph. I fiddled with it a little. And this only took me about maybe 20 minutes. I'd been doing a few before this, so I was getting better at it. I was getting this blue hue into it now because of the first few that I did, not so convincing. Well, I mean, pretty convincing, not the same, but yeah, I couldn't get that two-tone. I mean, you know, I just sort of figured out a magic tool. Yeah, just fiddle around with the tools for a little while and yeah, come up with some results. That one is actually what's it called? Mauna Kea in Hawaii. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some desert ones there, but there's not a whole lot of desert stuff on Mars. Oh, this Venus one. This is amazing. This is what they've come up with. 50, 60 years after the Russians landed on Venus, apparently, where the surface pressure is 90 times that of Earth. So, whatever kind of camera they had there, Jesus Christ, they knew how to build them back then. That's for sure. Apparently, it didn't last very long before it crumbled. But if you've ever actually seen the original photos, there's no high def, there's no color. It's just a crappy, grainy, black and white image of virtually nothing. So I did some messing around with my own. This is the Arizona desert, yellow sky. Thought I'd throw a bit of a. That's actually a Lego model. A bit of a sort of roving lander model, something there with the camera mounted to it. And oh, this is a good one. It's like I was saying before, I couldn't get the colours out. This one doesn't have the same coloration as this one. Now let me see which one's that. That's not Mars. Neither is that. Apparently Mars. When I say that, I don't actually mean Mars, because of course it's not fucking Mars. Nobody's taken photographs from the surface of Mars. You should know that is supposedly Mars, and that is supposedly Mars. Different time of day, different location. I guess you could be forgiven for believing that that actually was Mars. But yeah, I was messing around with, I think, this one and that one around the same time, and I kind of sort of went, well, look at that. Yeah, it almost lines up. So what I came up with is, is it Mars? Is it not Mars? Well, you tell me, is it Mars? Is it Earth? Well, according to NASA, this is Mars, but this is Hawaii. Now, I can tell you that for sure because I took it from an image off the internet of Hawaii. A little bit of Photoshop, you wouldn't know the difference. And to be honest, I only spent about, again, 20 minutes or so on this. And, I mean, the whole thing, all of this, I put together in pretty much one evening. I sort of tidied up a few little things before I decided to present it, but... And this is what I could do in less than an hour on my own with just Photoshop. Oh, that's the other one. Yeah, I thought I'd pop a lander in there because you better get used to seeing these sort of images. They'll be sending them back from Mars very soon. Mars, which is nearly 40 million miles away. 40 million kilometers. Or was it 40 million miles? 40 million kilometers. 53 million miles. 100 million kilometers? Oh, I had the math all worked out the other day. I might just edit this bit out and get the math straight before I do that. But what I sort of determined is the time it took to get to the moon, considering the distance to the moon from the Earth, they would have had to have been travelling around 4,000 kilometers an hour, which is actually a little less than the fastest speed of any aircraft within the atmosphere. Only Mach 3.35 is the Blackbird's top speed. Whether it actually went that fast or whether that's just an estimated speed, I don't know. But yeah, they were moving pretty quick, and it took them 4 days to get there. So they would have had to have been travelling at approximately 4,000 kilometres an hour, I calculated. And if you were travelling at that speed to Mars, it would take you 2.5 years to get there. So unless you're travelling 10 times, if you're travelling 10 times the speed of the fastest speed that any man has ever travelled ever in existence, then you might get there in 2 months. So I don't see how they're going to get there unless they're, well, they're not. They're just not. It's as simple as that. They're not getting there. And they're talking about, oh, Ganymede, and you know, the moons of Pluto. Oh, no, sorry, not Pluto. The moons of Jupiter. Oh, these planets could be terrestrial. We might be able to survive on them one day. There's no fucking way you're ever getting there. If you can't get to Mars, if you can't even go back to the goddamn moon, you're not getting to fucking Pluto. Why did I say Pluto? You're not getting to fucking Jupiter. There is just no way in hell you're getting there. What kind of advancements do they think they're going to make? I mean, we're living in some fantasy Star Trek nonsense. And it's so easy for them to people just assume this, you know, oh yes, with the advancements of technology, you couldn't imagine the sort of things that we have today only 20 years ago. Well, yeah, 20 years ago. Look at you know, some of the greatest minds of all time. People think, you know, the Dark Ages. People think, you know, back before electricity, everyone was stupid. I mean, the people that worked out all this mathematics that they teach you in school, they had to figure this shit out themselves. I mean, these people were fucking geniuses. They were brilliant. They had extraordinary minds. Far smarter than anybody on the planet today. And far smarter than these idiots at NASA assume that we are. If they think we're that fucking stupid that we're falling for this shit, I mean, they're out of their minds. Oh, here's the other one. That one is the Venus photos. With a little alteration, remarkably Earth-like. Remarkably Earth-like. That is, I mean, that's uncanny. The dirt, the sky, you know, the colour of the rust on the metal. It's, you might be, you know, forgiven for believing that these photos were taken on Earth. You know? And they just did them really black and white and grainy, so people won't even notice. And then when they had the technology, they had Photoshop, and they had someone who was relatively competent with it, and not terribly, I must say. You know, today bang a yellow sky in there for us, and we'll palm that off as fucking real. This is a real eye-opener for fake bullshit. Absolute fake. This is the, I think this is Curiosity. Well, it's obviously a Mars rover. Taking a photo of itself, taking a selfie. Where's the selfie stick? Where's the arm that has the camera on it? Because apparently this is what it does. It takes a photo of itself, and then it takes a panoramic photo of... Every time it stops to take a photo, this is its procedure. So it's got all these selfies, apparently. But they're great for publicity. That's all they fucking are. Let's look at some ridiculous fakeness of this. I might actually just quit out of this for now and open that one in Photoshop so I can get in much, much closer with far more detail. Photoshop. Yep. Okay, now I might just have a look at the pixelation. Jump resolution up to the 200. Okay, now let's have a bit of a look around here, just in case. Okay, now look at this background here. Look at that line, and then it stops at the top of the rover, follows it around here, and continues down. This is composite images that have been spliced together. And from what I can tell, the rover has been added later. Look at this blur tool here. below. So you got sharp detail here and blurred out there. Just pull it out a little bit. You can see it, but see how blurry that one patch is, and a little blurry around there. And it's got this weird sort of aura that looks like there used to be a shadow there, but they've covered it up somehow, and which is shaped very much like this, which is very strange because I can't figure out what that shadow has been cast by. What is it? It couldn't be the camera. Maybe whoever took the selfie stick out was an extremely competent user of Photoshop. But if they're going to do the stuff that's supposed to be real, half-assed, and do the stuff that they're admitting, oh yeah, we just take that out with Photoshop so it looks, you know, kind of cool, then they're fucking idiots. And they think we're idiots. I think that's the main thing. It's like, I don't bother putting too much effort into it. People are stupid. And you see, look at all this. This is tooling marks in the sky along the horizon. You'll notice them. Also, you get this out of the way a little bit. Oops. What's that one? Get out of the way, I said. On which one? One with a fake blue sky. I think that should show the exact same phenomenon. Maybe I'll have to do it on Photoshop. Oh no, well that's pretty much. There. See all these lines? See these lines? See these squiggly bits? Blah, 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 blah. That's where I went over with. First I used an eraser because when I did the mask on the top, it didn't come up terribly clean. So there was like a little haze on the horizon. So I ran over it with an eraser tool, and then I went over it with a smudge and maybe a bit of a dodge tool to sort of bring the colour back up. So you got these little pixelations. Little marks where I've hit it with different editing tools, and that is exactly what you've got here. These are not blurry images from their high-def camera. You'd think they would have the best camera on the planet, wouldn't you, for these type of shots? So, oh yeah, it's just a old cheapo. Yeah, we'll just send it up to Mars for the next 10 years. No, it's got to be one hell of a camera, and it can't take a decent photo. And that line there, that's a shocker. Have a look at oh, that's the same one, but it actually chops off the edge of the mountain. And then there's another line there, and it stops again. See, these things, they stop at the top of the rover, and the rover's got these little marks all around his head where he's been cleaned up and tidied up. And it even appears to be a little bit missing there. And yeah, it just gets worse. It just gets worse. Look at this. Look at the blurriness. Look at the mismatched colours. The oh, what is that? There's just a big square block of pixels there. This has been put together so poorly. And you look at the one I did, and it's far cleaner than that. And it didn't take me bloody half an hour. This is just astounding. It's astounding. I'm amazed that the space agency, or an aerospace agency, with the largest budget of any government department, maybe outside the military. Well, they are the military, aren't they? They're the Navy and Air Force and anything else that requires aircraft to drop bombs on people and to transport soldiers to their death. But yeah, I mean, you can look at this all day and you will not find any clear evidence of. And look at the sky. That's a gradient mask, very similar to. I've got one. I found that one. So the first that was Mars, isn't it? Not the first one. Was the actual first one I did? I think it was this roving thing here. Then the sky is just the same color. I didn't even bother taking the clouds out. But as I sort of worked on it a bit, and no, that's supposed to be real. I started putting some gradients and stuff in there to make it, give it look like a little bit of shine. Oh, the one I like, it's got the mountain, the light coming over the mountain. This one, I like that, and I used gradient mask on that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That is, what does it say? Devon Island. That's where they do some of the yeah. That's why I started looking, thinking, oh, I bet I can find some terrain here that looks real familiar. Real familiar from Mars, Earth, or whatever it is, Google Mars. And yeah, there's plenty of it. See, of course, you know, red weed on Mars gives Mars its red colour. So H.G. Wells postulated in War of the Worlds. But yeah, so I mean, it's just messing around anyway. But I've got this lovely sort of sunset thing going on here. And I mean, at least I put a little bit of effort into it, you know. There's an image of Death Valley, and there's an image of an actual Martian desert. Martian desert, American desert. Martian, American, Martian, American. Psh, shit. Bullshit. Total bullshit. What else have I got? I think I had some other... Yeah, I think I started getting pretty bored by this stage. So. It's just so obvious. It's so easy. I mean, I'm not saying they're not getting data back from, you know, objects that I don't know. I'm not seeing any evidence of it. But I think this shit don't fly if they put graphs and you know, just a bunch of binary code up on the screen at, you know, news time. The latest images from Mars. Unless you're an astrophysicist, these numbers don't mean shit to you. And even if you are, they're pretty fucking boring to sit down and go through hour after hour after hour to come up with some conception of what we might actually be looking at, so that some artist can come along and render it for the public to go, wow, that's amazing. You guys have the best job in the world. Like, fuck. Anyway, yep, that's pretty much all I wanted to do. Just show you how fake Mars is, and Venus, and any other terrestrial, extraterrestrial body, or location, or whatever. But these images, these are just slack. Just slack. I mean, they've got to have the best computers. They've got the biggest budget. They'd have the best. Well, that's the thing. You think they would have the best actors, the best graphic design, but their actors are terrible. I mean, I'm not convinced by any of them. They keep getting their lines wrong, and I mean, they're absolute idiots. So, yes, welcome to Mars, blue sky on Mars. And welcome to Chile and Hawaii and any other. You know, oh, this is an interesting fact that I just thought I'd throw in as well. Everyone knows the blue marble is bullshit, but what I don't understand is why Neil deGrasse Tyson will actually come out and say the Earth isn't exactly round. It sort of bulges in the middle. It's a bit like a pear shape. It's the oblique spheroid. So they're admitting it. Their top propaganda guy comes out and says, well, you're right, it's not round, but it's not flat, okay? It's still roundish. So the scientists know it's round. NASA will know it's roundish, but not visibly round. NASA knows that it's not completely round like a marble or a perfect Photoshop circle, you know, like AutoCAD or something that just, you know, fucking to the 10th degree. Yet on this website it says a NASA camera on the Deep Space Climate Observatory Discover satellite has returned its first view of the entire sunlit side of Earth from 1 million miles away. They are telling you that that is an actual photo of Earth. Because people keep saying, well, you know, what's with all these composites? Why do you keep, you know, putting composites up? Why can't you just take a fucking photo? Now they're claiming that they did, that they have, that this is a photo. This is not a photo. There is no way in hell that is an oblique spheroid. And this is coming from, you know, the horse's mouth. These are the guys that are telling you that, look, the Earth isn't flat, but it's not the blue marble that we depict it to be either, okay? So yeah, there's a little bit of fakery going on there. They're admitting it. They're saying it's round, but it's roundish. It's kind of like a pear, but not so bulgy at the top as a pear would be. Maybe a misshapen tangerine or something. But get fucked. That is a fucking AutoCAD perfect sphere. That's a perfect circle. Absolutely perfect. And they're telling us on this website from nasa.gov that this was actually taken from a satellite. Why do they can't even keep their lies straight. If they're gonna lie, just, you know, do the truth in plain sight sort of thing. It's like, yeah, well, you know, we don't really do it for real. You know that a lot of the stuff on the moon probably was filmed in a studio, but we really did go, and we really do have some footage. Just some of the bits that are obviously fake, they were the obvious fakes. That's what they say, isn't it? They just say, well, yeah, I mean, they probably did this bit in the studio because the, you know, the glare on these high definition stuff, but some of this old grainy stuff, you know, we wanted to make a big show out of it. So even though we got this terrible footage from the moon, which is real men walking on the moon, we thought we'd jazz it up a bit by making some really fancy stuff as well, which is what the Mars images are obviously all about, because there's no fucking way. Oh, did I close that one? Oh, did I open it up again? That, you know, that is actually the surface of any planet. It's just it's the pits. It really is. It is a very big image. There's lots of stuff in there. But like I said, huge budget, huge computers, huge talent pool to, you know, source from. You'd think you'd have, you know, guys working day and night, teams of people, 100 people in a, you know, secure facility all to themselves with the most high-powered computers and the best editing software on the planet, just working flat out for, you know, months to produce these images that are so convincing no one would ever tell that it wasn't real, that these circles that are identical shaped weren't just fucking photoshopped. But it obviously is. It just so obviously is. I mean, look at these circles. They are perfectly, exactly the same size. They've just chosen a few different gauges of circle and they've gone ahead and popped them everywhere. And that, I mean, right next to each other too. Look at that. Boop, boop. You know, they're not even trying to sort of disperse them amongst. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know what to think when I say this stuff. I think, my God, they think we're stupid. Yeah, these two. That's almost perfect clone tool. Bang bang. What are the odds? What are the odds that there are no other shapes but these 3 or 4 specific sizes, and then that's it? And you can go over the whole planet, and like I was doing before, and you will find that this is exactly the same size as this, and this is exactly the same size as this, and this is exactly the same size as this. These are the standard sizes that they got, and these ones are a little bit smaller, and then you got these ones, they're the same ones again, and then you got the bigger ones, boom boom, and then you got the really big ones. Look at those two, almost identical. What are the chances? 2 impacts side by side. Oh, and another one up here. Bang, 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 and the shadows all match too. They're not perfect. Someone has taken a little bit of effort to blur them out, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. they've not done a great deal to convince me that this is an alien landscape. It just looks like bullshit to me. You know, these big ones just look like big versions of the small ones too. And I mean, I studied physics. You know, impacts are different depending on the mass of the object that is colliding with this particular surface. This surface is pretty much uniform, I assume. But with the larger objects, you're going to get vastly different types of impacts. Look at these two. See, you get two big ones right next to each other. Identical big ones. 1, 2, 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3 in a fucking perfect triangle. What is this? NASA, lift your game. And Google, go fuck yourself. Jesus. This is lunacy. I mean, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, yeah, that looks real to me. You've been watching too many movies. Oh, look at those two. Pop, pop, pop. You got all these sort of flat ones, and then you got these two pop, pop, just popping out of nowhere. I don't know what the hell that is. A bit of an overlap. And then you got this bang, 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 bang. Pancakes, all the same size, all the same shape, and you got these two flat disc coin type ones. Bang, bang. Look at those two. Look at those two. Oh man. Peas in a pod. They couldn't. This is not possible. This is not possible. And there's no in between sizes either. You know, they're all sort of uniform size. Bang, bang, bang. 3 in a row. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. It's crazy. It is really, really crazy. And I found something on here. I could never find it again. It looked like a name embossed in the side of a hill. The closer you got, and I wanted to find it again to see if anybody out there knew anything about the missions that it might actually. I mean, yeah, people say there's faces and pyramids. I think I saw. I found some images of the pyramid regions where they got these funny sort of triangular block mountains. They probably deliberately faked them to look like pyramids to get people all rolled up and distracted. Look at these. Boop, boop, boop. I think they just got really lazy at some point. Because they're probably doing all these canyons and lots of detail and work on these larger edify, whatever. And then they just bugger it. Fucking late in the day, pop, pop. Just stick one on the edge of it. You won't even notice. It looks the same. Look, that one, that one, that one, that one. They are the same fucking shape. That one, that one, that one. They're the same shape. They're the same shape. They're the same size. They were made with the same tool. I'm pretty damn sure of that. Then you got this sort of weird stuff. Stuff that looks like lava flows. And you can go around this forever, and you won't find anything particularly interesting. That is what I would believe in any way true. Wow, they put a lot of effort into the pole there, didn't they? It's ice cream smoothie. They've just, they've really. I mean, if they're going to fake it, at least put something there, jeez. So that's the thing, it's like, well, of course, it's just composite of all the images that we've taken from different angles and vast distances. And there's some guys climbing the mountain over here. And of course, you've got all your guided tours and rovers and landers. That's where I got a lot of those photos from before. I mean, they got all the photos, but they're all bullshit. And you look at the landing sites. I mean, I don't know exactly where they are, but they might have one here and then one over here. On completely different areas in the planet. But all the fucking photos look the same. You go anywhere on Earth, I know we got plants and animals and stuff. That makes a huge difference. And water erosion. rainfall, all that sort of stuff, creates a more diverse looking planet, a diverse. I think of a good word for that. Or diverse aesthetic. A more diverse aesthetic, if I can get that straight. But there's got to be something on Mars that doesn't look like Earth. That doesn't look like it was just taken in the Nevada desert, or somewhere in Chile, or a volcano in Hawaii. You know, where's the where's the mountains that look like snake heads or something? You know, where's the just something alien, something extraterrestrial, something unfamiliar. Because I reckon if you could see the surface of the planet Jupiter, if it does exist at all, because of those huge, dense, thick clouds that are constantly storming around its surface, you'd probably see something, if you could see through the storms, of course, that doesn't resemble Earth in any way. And that's what they say, a truly alien landscape, until you start looking at places on Earth and changing the colours a little bit and going, oh, you know what? It looks a lot like Earth. In fact, it looks exactly like Earth. So much like Earth that you can't tell one from the other. Which one's Earth, which one's Mars, which one's Earth, which one's Mars? I don't know, because they're the same fucking rocks on the same fucking hill, probably in the same fucking country. Definitely on the same planet. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. One of these mountain formations. They're Earth. They're Earth-like mountain formations. These rocks are Earth rocks. Because these rocks are the same as these rocks. They look the same to me. I can't tell any difference. And so even when you zoom right in on my Fakery, this is where I did most of the joining up of the two images. And you can sort of see those similar sort of lines passing through that the Mars rover image had. But nowhere near as obvious as theirs. I mean, holy shit. Like I said, half an hour and I did a better job than those idiots. And we're supposed to buy that crap. I'm astounded. I'm flabbergasted. I'm appalled that they have so little faith in people that they think they can just churn out any old bullshit and people just go nuts over it. How many fucking Mars souvenirs do those cunts sell? You know? Not only are they relying on one of the wealthiest governments, probably the wealthiest government, well, not considering their current debt, but with the largest budget, the government with the largest budget, and the largest military budget, and the largest space budget, with their millions and millions and millions that they get from the government, you know, they've got to fleece everybody else as well. And that's an insult. That's a tragedy. It's a goddamn shame. Yeah. I mean, look at that. Here we are on Mars. Actually, that's in Chile. And where's the Mars one? And that one is on Mars. Mars, Chile, Mars, Chile, Mars, Chile. Take your pick. Because I'm pretty sure if you showed someone a photo of this and said it was on Mars, just after them seeing a photo on this being told that it was on Mars, you'd believe that was on Mars. Skies, same. Dirt's the same. Rocks, the same. And why they're the same? Because they're Earth. They're both Earth. There's no Mars. Well, I'm not saying Mars doesn't exist. Of course, there's a thing up there in the sky that flashes reddy, orangey sort of coloured from time to time, and isn't the same as all the other stars. And we call that Mars. And there's one called Venus too. All these planetae, all these wanderers, these moving stars that just keep. But you know, what the word planet has come to mean now, as in the Earth is a planet, Mars is a planet like the Earth. It doesn't seem to ring true to me. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's a flickering light up there. It could be a big ball of mud reflecting light from a sun that is not so far away. Who knows? So who doesn't know? Fucking NASA. And if they do, they're not telling. Well, I think that I'll just have to wrap that up there. I'm just going around in circles now, literally. Going around in circles on the surface of Mars, trying to find a Starbucks. So what is the purpose of Google Mars? Google Earth, well, I only ever use Google Maps, really. I use Google Earth for its map service. If I need to find a place that I'm not familiar with, I run a mobile business, and I'm constantly typing in names of addresses that I'm not sure where to go, and then you just hit the direction and it takes you straight there, the quickest way, avoids the tolls. It's a convenient little app, you know, and it has its purpose, it has its uses, even it fucks up from time to time. And I thought, how could they have a Google Mars, for God's sake? I mean, they can't even get Google Earth right, you know. Jeez, look at these from a distance. Even from a distance, these big ones, are the same. They're the same. Then they've got to have one giant one. So, oh, Olympus Mons, it's the biggest one on the planet. So much bigger than the other ones because we thought, yeah, go on, chuck a giant one in there. But just the one. And these two, even from a distance, you're looking at that. Regardless of the fact that these are all just, you know, what they probably tell you that they're high altitude, you know, high definition ground penetrating radar shit or something. I don't know, which is what they say. That's how they managed. Oh, I keep closing that. Oh, it's on the bloody desktop now. To create an image of the surface of Venus, even though it's shrouded in extremely thick, extremely heavy. Holy shit, is that Robin? Just noticed him there. He's the goofy guy with the mask on there. And you got the devil head up here as well. But I mean, to see faces in things is not unusual. It's a human trait. That doesn't mean they've actually put them there on purpose. But whoa, what's going on at the bottom here? Ah, they forgot to finish it off there. But yeah, I read something, but they said that these images were taken through the clouds because there's several kilometers of sulfur, high pressure, highly condensed clouds. You cannot, even from up close with an orbiting satellite, you can't see through the clouds. Nothing can see through these clouds, apparently. But they get around that. They use high definition, some sort of, it's like ground penetrating radar. It's you know, microwave emitting pulses or something that sends back information, which again, all it would be is just a bunch of gibberish and numbers. And it takes an artist to create something like this. And I think that is just really taking the piss. It's just going above and beyond what's reasonable, sensible, and in any way believable. And why? Why Google? Why Google Mars? Why? What service does it give to mankind? What purpose does it serve? None. Absolutely none. Don't go to Mars. Waste of time, waste of money, waste of effort. But if it takes everybody's minds off what's really going on in the world, fuck it, just go ahead and do it. Well, just film it, Capricorn 1 style, and then tell people you did it. So that is, that's that. That is that, people. Thank you for watching. Sorry this one was such a ranting, raving loony style, but it's just gets up my fucking nose that how are we not supposed to take flat Earth seriously, or hollow Earth, or the lizard people from the third dimension, or from the fifth dimension, wherever they're from. There's interdimensional dark matter creatures that are coming through the CERN and all that. There's some really, really wacky stuff out there, and I don't believe half of it. But I mean, if the Earth was flat and there was more land out there beyond the poles, and possibly even more people, more civilizations, more sensible individuals that aren't going to treat us like cattle, and maybe these people would have a damn good reason to continue to lie to us in this way. And they're not doing a very good job of convincing me otherwise. That's the sad part about it. You would think that as soon as people started saying, the Earth is flat, no, it's not. Look, I know you probably don't understand the physics, but here's some proof. And it doesn't seem like there is any, to be honest. There doesn't seem to be anything that is conclusive. That image, that's what they got. Oh yeah, we took this picture from 1 million miles away. Oh yeah, and we've got a rover up on Mars with a battery that's lasted 4.5 years so far. And just notice that one? Didn't see any solar panels on that one either. What's running that fucking battery? How come my car doesn't run on a battery like that? They're getting ripped off here, man. They're wasting technology on ridiculous jaunts around the solar system. And they could be saving mankind. Fuck the people, man. Give it to the robots. Give it to the Mars Explorer. Yeah. Spend all your money on that shit. So even that doesn't make any sense. Even if it was a real thing, it's a fucking waste of money. It's a fucking ridiculous waste of resources. Resources that don't seem viable in the first place. A 4.5-year-old battery that's still running. And will probably be running for the next 10 years. That's pretty damn good. I mean, no electric car lasts more than 5 or 6 hours these days. And I think they take like overnight, 20 hours or something to recharge. Yeah, they're the best batteries on the market. What the hell have they got in that thing? Doesn't even need solar power. Remarkable. The stories they tell. Yeah, and the fact that everyone just believes it. And when you start to look into it, you think, fucking hell, everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. I don't know what the truth is, but I know pretty much everything that I've been told about the solar system and physics beyond natural physics. I studied physics as part of an engineering course, and I know physics and thermodynamics and kinetics and stuff. It's real. It is a real thing. It applies to the natural world. It can be experimented. It can be determined. It can be shown to be effective, and you can use it to build bridges, vehicles, all manner of construction. But astrophysics, theoretical physics, Einstein shit. I'm starting to think it's all bullshit. It's all bunk. I don't think Einstein had a single unique thought in his entire life. Most of his stuff was plagiarized, and the stuff that he did make up, I think, is just completely wrong. Which quantum physics actually kind of proves. And then they sort of come up with this explanation like, well, no, you can't really reconcile them because the really, really big and the really, really small behave really, really differently. And you're like, no, not really. Everything kind of behaves the same. That's what physics sort of proves. You know what I'm saying? a ball does not suddenly start pulling things towards it instead of throwing them off because it's spinning in a vacuum. An atom doesn't suddenly start behaving in a very different way to a solar system when they're really just particles moving around one another. It doesn't work. The math doesn't fit. And I think they just decided, well, we'll just separate the math. That's what the great thing about math. If you can come up with a variable that fits the equation, then you might have a breakthrough. But the fact is, you had to make that up. You had to fill in the gaps yourself. It's like a murder mystery, and you're just making up the story as you go along. You got some facts here and there, you got some details, but the end result, well, that's up to your imagination. Because you can plant anything you like in those holes to come out with the result that you choose. It's that it's an old adage. I can't remember what there's a particular. It's similar to the cognitive dissonant sort of mindset that an individual has an ideal that they wish to achieve, and through experimentation they're going to achieve it, no matter what. Which is the opposite of the experimental process, because you should be surprised. Holy shit, that's not what I expected. But some people get it in their head that, well, if that didn't work, we'll have to try something else to get what we want. And they'll keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until they come up with a way, even though every other method that should have been foolproof, that should have taught them something, that should have led them in different directions, was dismissed as failure. They'll just keep going until they get the result they want, and then that's the success that they claim, and that's the one that goes into the journal. And that's what science is becoming today, and Tesla knew it, and everybody knows it, but nobody knows shit about science anyway, so they're all just fucking blind sheep. I mean, my math, quadratic equations, matrices, I can go pretty far. Probably, calculus is about, that's where I sort of start to break down. So don't talk to me about astrophysics. I've got no fucking idea. I mean, I could look at the math and go, what are these variables? I've never seen them before. I don't understand them. I mean, explain them to me. But if they start talking, nonsense about quarks and shit, it's like, well, I mean, you don't really know that, do you? I mean, you're just assuming this. This is all assumption. You say, well, if this does this and that does that, then the resulting number for this should be this. So if we put that into this equation, then bang, look at that, it works. So, yeah, very clever, but that's on a big if. If you start your premise with an if, then your result is going to be a maybe. It's never going to be a certainty. Yeah, science is really starting to suck in that sense. The mainstream science, anyway. I mean, science is a very important thing. Science is very is advancing very dramatically, but it's getting lost. It really is getting lost in this this pantomime, which has got nothing to do with science. So I think I have rambled on quite enough today. So yeah, that's nearly an hour of raving. Okay, so you know what to do. I'll see you later.